Okay, this video is about COPPA and YouTube and stuff, and this is going to be kind of a little bit of a long video, not too long though. So, COPPA stands for Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which is a really badly written and horribly enforced law. If I was a federal judge, I would find it unconstitutional, personally, because I would find it that it's it's too vague, and I'll explain it. Well, COPPA was written in 1998, and the first people they got was like a cookie company that had said, "Hey, come on, put your stuff in, and we'll send you a cookie for your birthday." That's all they were doing. They weren't using it for nefarious purposes, and they weren't selling the information, anything like that. They were collecting it just to do something nice for kids, I guess. Well, these people got fined like $150,000. They went after all sorts of companies. You gotta understand, companies been doing stuff like this for decades. It used to be you would write in, hey, and they'd send you something for your birthday, or you become a member of a club, or something like the 13 Under Club for kids, for a TV station and stuff like that. And so this was not well thought out. This is why I think all laws need to be looked at every so many years, so they can go, oh, and then to hear what they were doing, and Congress go, yeah, that's not what we were intended. We're going to get rid of this law. This didn't do. This is why we need to do this. This is why I think in the Constitution there needs to be that all laws actually it should be a 5-year limit, and they actually should be required to read the law out loud and then go over people, and that way, I guarantee you, Congress may actually go, this isn't what we wanted. No, we're getting rid of this law. Stuff like that I think would be great. But anyway, so what happened was Google was supposedly taking data on people below the age of 13, and because of that, they were getting fined. Instead of actually defending themselves and saying, no, take it to court and prove it, they just laid over and played dead, much like the comic book industry did for the Comics Code back in the 50s, which is completely separate, which is a very similar issue, but separate issue. Those of you who don't have, most of you don't have younger kids. My kids are below 13 right now. I have a 12-year-old who'll be 13 in May, and then I have a 10-year-old who just turned 10. They have what's called family accounts. So you can have, like, if your kid's below 13, they can have a Google account, but I have full control over it. And then once my son turns 13, you give it over to him. That's pretty much what happens. So what it is since they're under 13, if they want to go, they either have to go on direct, then they have Droid phones. So since they're under 13, they can't download regular YouTube. They can only download YouTube Kids, which really annoys them at times. But there's a lot of kids videos on there for kids, and because those are kids, they're probably not tracking them. That's how they're keeping. Hey, kids under 13 are watching YouTube Kids. We're not tracking that. But you're sending But this was about ads, because what if the fact that they're looking at what my kid under 13 is looking for, and then doing ads towards him, like for kid stuff, like toys and stuff? I'm sorry. That doesn't bother me, honestly, that they're saying, okay, based on your videos, we're going to send you these toy ads because, hey, you might want to tell your parents what you want for your birthday or Christmas, and here's some stuff you might want. Well, if they're just saying, hey, based on, they're watching videos, there's not much. I mean, my kids mainly watch stuff they're watching Annoying Orange, which I think is kind of funny myself. They watch a lot of stuff on Minecraft. My 10-year-old loves Roblox. Just loves it. That is his favorite game. He can't get enough of it. Loves Roblox. He likes Destiny. He likes Warframe. So, I mean, he likes first-person shooters. That's what he is. My 12-year-old is more into Minecraft and more into building games or whatever. They've got different personalities. They have different likes. So really what these pearl-clutching friggin' soccer moms are going, oh my God, they're tracking us. And all Google is saying, listen, if they're YouTube Kids, we're just sending general stuff that is made for that age group. Hey, if the kid's 8 years old, we send them stuff for 8-year-olds, whatever, and that's fine, because if you take a look at, remember the old Saturday morning cartoons, they weren't advertising Budweiser. Like when I was watching Bugs Bunny, they weren't advertising Budweiser, they weren't advertising furniture, they weren't advertising cars. They were either advertising cereal, or they were advertising toys, stuff like that. They're advertising stuff towards kids or towards the parents who are watching with the kids. But yeah, so, and then when you're watching football, that's when they're advertising beer and cars and whatever, So, for example, I'm sorry, when you're watching YouTube Kids, you're not going to get mattress ads. Last time I checked, I didn't see that 10 or 12 year olds walking into a mattress store and says, I want that king size mattress. That ain't happening. Okay, so now if you go on to YouTube, just a regular YouTube app without logging in, you're limited to what you can watch. Okay, there's certain things you can't watch or get to because you're kind of in a limited state on there where they're kind of, now once you log in, you verified your age. You said yes, I'm 13, blah blah blah, 13 or over. Then, based on your age, then there's a lot more content available for you. And then that's when you start getting targeted ads. Now, instead of when the Federal Trade Commission went after them, instead of taking the court or working out a really good deal, what they did is they didn't throw all the YouTube content creators under the bus. They threw them under a fleet of buses, because what they said was, and this is one of the dumbest things. They could have said, hey, here's what we're going to do. If they're not logged in or they're using YouTube Kids, we won't track because we don't know how old that person is. But once they've logged in, they verified or said they're 13 years old or older, then we can do things. We'll use targeted ads, and that would have been a simple issue. That's all they had to do. And that was, what if if the kid lied to us, that's not our fault. The parent... Because I'll tell you, if the parents let the kids lie to you, that's the fault of the parents. What about holding parents accountable? Hey, watch what your kids are doing. I won't tell my kids what to watch, but I'll tell them what not to watch. And that's just how I am. I don't micromanage my kids, but also, I hear a cursing, so I'm like, dude, you're not watching that. That's why I think I like Annoying Orange. A, it's funny. B, there's not foul language on there. And some of that stuff is actually kind of funny. If you want to see something really funny with Annoying Orange, there's one where they're making fun of Apple product releases. In my opinion, it's a riot because it's really doing a great job of making fun of Apple in the best way possible. Make them look as greedy as they really are. The iVacuum, but it vacuums up your money. That was great. But continuing, so what they did says, well, okay, we're going to pay this fine, and then if you mark your stuff not for kids, and kids tend to like to watch it, well, we're going to find it to $42,000 some odd dollars. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, because I can guarantee you the Electronic Frontier Foundation, whatever law group, is just waiting for this. This is what Nick Rekieta says, and I think Nick Rekieta is right. And no, I'm not a lawyer, okay? Do I really have to say I'm not a lawyer? I'm also one thing, I have to get this, because this is one of my pet peeves. I'm tired of lawyers that, I'm not your lawyer, I'm not giving legal advice, but when they're actually giving you legal advice. First off, okay, if you're watching a guy on YouTube, he's not your lawyer, he's giving you basic legal advice that you ought to listen to, but you should also get an attorney. Like, if his legal advice is don't talk to the effing cops when they're blaming you when they're investigating you for a crime, or the cops want to talk to you about a crime, don't talk to them without a lawyer. That's just good legal advice, all right? But they're not giving you legal advice. They're doing that so they don't get sued by some dumb, well, I watched this video, so therefore he's not an attorney. No, he's not. You're an idiot if you think that. Well, he gave me bad legal advice. Well, this guy, for example, Nick Rekieta is in Minnesota. I live in Texas. I know for a fact that he knows Minnesota law a lot better than he knows Texas law, so I will take his advice, not with a grain of salt, with an understanding that Texas law and Minnesota law are slightly different, and at least gives me a basis to go on based on any type of legal stuff before I go talk to a lawyer. Here's how does it work in Texas. That's what it is. Each state's different. You need, if a lawyer tells you something general, find out what state they're from, and then go talk. That's why I do like when lawyers say, well, here in this state, like here in Minnesota for Nicocada, for Leto's Law, like here in Michigan, where they say here it is for our state, so people will understand that their state's uniqueness on laws and stuff, which is fine. I had to get that out of the way. But anyway, so that's not, well, what they said, well, this is going to be because the first person who gets hit with this, first off, one of these groups are going to help defend them. Electronic Frontier Foundation. What's the other? There's several other groups out there too, but I'll use Electronic. They're going to be chomping at the bit to go after this, and I guarantee you, this goes to. And what they're trying to say is, well, YouTube's collecting data, but you're using the data YouTube's collecting to get. They're going to use some really weird thing, but the first thing the judge asks is, who's collecting data? YouTube. Does he get that data? Not. What do you mean not direct? They're going to have to ask all these questions, and the FTC is going to look stupid. And not to mention, you have Section 230, where the content providers, if they are a platform, they can't. The people putting it. The Section 230 is going to come. Not to mention the First Amendment. This is a clear violation of the First Amendment and the Ninth Amendment too, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is going to. They're going to try to make an example of someone, and honestly, the Federal Trade Commission and possibly YouTube also are going to get their dicks stomped into the dirt. Listen, I did some research. I had a paper I had to do in college, and I did a paper on California video games law that was struck down like 6-3 by the Supreme Court. And I did a ton of research on this. This is like a 10-page report, and I will tell you, even though it's for video games, since video games have only been around for, I had to go back to other media, like movies and records and stuff like that. And I went back to like 1919 for some of the stuff. And some of the initial rulings, for example, against, which were rulings when it came to movies, was because they were looking at some of these regulations not as a First Amendment but as a 10th Amendment about regulating business. It's later on they didn't reverse their decisions. They made better decisions when they received more information, saying no, this is about freedom of speech, and they have been very, very. The Supreme Court has been very, in most of your, in a lot of your, all the appellate courts and the district courts and appellate courts have been very consistent on the First Amendment. And I will tell you, this is going to get struck down so hard, they're going to get their dick stomped into the dirt. And if I was the federal judge, which probably will never happen because I'm not a lawyer, and I don't plan on going to law school, but if I was a federal judge, it would be like, it would be the butt chewing these people would get would be just phenomenal. And a lot of this, that the reason why YouTube was doing that, like 20, like up to 20, like different groups representing children came in. No, you're not representing children. You're representing your cause using children as your little shield. First off, you don't represent my children. All right, I represent my children. You did not consult me. You did not talk to me. So you do not represent my kids at all. Because they are minors. The only people, you can't represent minors without permission, or adults, by the way, without their permission. You can't represent a minor without the permission of the parent. And I, as a parent, have never given you permission to represent my kids, nor do you have any right to represent my kids without my permission, which I will not give to groups like yours because I don't like you people. Because I know you have ulterior motives, and it's a violation, because I'm a very pro-freedom person. I'm not pro-freedom so bad that like some of the anarchists where their brains fall out. Listen, you should have an open mind, but don't have it so open that your brain falls out. I'm going to tell you this right now. These people are going they're going to do this, and they're going to get slammed. And also, if they go after something, because like I know BitChutes in another country, there's a couple other sites. I can't think of the names of them right now. Steemit, I don't know where Steemit's based out of. Gab, I think Gab and Minds are here in the country, and you can put videos on there. So yeah, when they get their dick stomped into the dirt by the courts, which I think is going to happen, or they have a lawyer come up, one of the lawyers at FTC come in who actually knows the First Amendment and goes, yeah, go ahead and do this, and you better change this really quick because we're about to get sued. The FTC is going to do it anyway, and like what happened with the first COPPA, the Child Online Protection Act, which got friggin' flat out slammed by the Supreme Court. You got to remember this. From like the 1930s or 40s until the 1990s, not a single law was found unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, federal law, till then. First off, that makes me really question the Supreme Court why so many laws are found constitutional when they shouldn't be. Okay. But on the other hand, this also shows you that it was so bad, even the Supreme Court, which almost rubber stamps everything that federal government does. Like, they'll do 5-4 just so, they won't put, like, whatever. Yeah, thanks, FDR. But this is going to fail miserably because it's going to be really funny if they go after someone and that person's like 16 or 17 years old, who's now a minor. It's going to be even funnier. Or they get some person who has no money, who barely has any money, and the only money, I'm telling you, they're going to get butt slammed. This is going to be funny to watch the federal courts, in my personal opinion, knock their dicks in the dirt for this. And I'm sure that the federal judge will have a few things to say to Google and YouTube and Alphabet for going, no, you really had this was not done in good faith. So that's going to be interesting because YouTube, they're not going to do much to YouTube, but they are going to knock the FTC's dick in the dirt for this one. Yeah, because the minute they find the first person, it's going to be game on. And I'm telling you. And I have to tell you YouTube's response. When people were complaining about it, YouTube's response was, well, I guess you'll have to get a lawyer. First off, I'm going to tell you about COPPA. That little thing saying you're required to, it is not constitutional. It's not legal. It was not passed by Congress. Not even if it was, it'd be illegal anyway. And so when you do that, just say you're doing it under duress. That's what I'm putting on my stuff, that I'm actually, I'm not applying because I want to, I'm applying under duress so they can kiss my ass. And that's about it. Like I said, they're going to get their dicks knocked in the dirt. It's going to be funny as hell to watch. That's about it.